guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you are doing so well. First of all, I want to apologize. I'm gonna have a really bad sore throat. I have the flu and I'm just kind of now starting to get over it, and it's been a very rough week. It's the reason also that I haven't really posted in the last few weeks, but you know, I'm just resting. I'm doing the best that I can. However, what I haven't probably been the best at is avoiding buying books. And I have bought quite a few books in the last month. So I was also gifted a few books. So on top of being gifted books, I also bought quite a few books, and then I also bought quite a few used books. Right before I started this video, I got a lovely Amazon package in the mail with more books. So I was like, why not show you guys all the books that I have accumulated over March. But before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe to this video to see more videos like this. I love creating a cozy bookish content. And also make sure to check out my Instagram, A Sip of Cozy. That is where I post all of my bookish content as well as just my cozy aesthetic. So I'm going to show you guys the books that I've bought, then I'm going to show you the books that I bought that are used, and then I'm going to show you the few books that were gifted to me from publishers. So the first book that I got in the month of March is All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This is one of my anticipated releases for March. I was very excited about this book. This book follows two young boys at the end of the world, and it follows these two as they meet up with each other and then, you know, are surviving the end of the world, and they both have secrets and they both have things hidden from each other, and also at the same time, you know, falling in love. The next two books are two books that I've been really excited about getting, and that is The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, and these are the UK covers. I absolutely loved the first book in the Mistborn, The Final Empire. It was beautiful, it was wonderful. It's one of my favorite books of the year so far. I read it in January and I knew I needed to continue with the series. I prefer the UK cover. I was living in Norway and I ended up buying it when I was there, and so I just figured I might as well buy the same covers. So the next book that I got, the first book that I got, is The Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I read her Stalking Jack the Ripper series, absolutely loved it. This was a top anticipated release in 2020 when it came out, and I didn't get it, and I think it was because of the fact that it became hyped super fast, and this is something that I struggle with. If a book becomes so hyped to the point where it's talked about consistently and I don't hear anything but about this book, I just kind of lose that love of wanting to read it. It's about, I believe, the 7 deadly sins, and you know, and it's a murder mystery. Amelia is the main character and her twin sister ends up dying, and she meets one of the 7 deadly sin princes, which is the prince, which is Wrath. I think Wrath, and it's something that kind of is in the fantasy realm that I really enjoy. So moving on to the package that I received today, it is 3 books. Oh, I'm actually going to show this. So this is not a book item. Well, it is a book item, but this is not a book. And that is these so I've seen these all over Instagram, and they're like the vintage colored tabs. And I really wanted a set for myself just to try them out. I'm a huge annotator in books, and I ended up getting like the vintage color set. So you have like the dark colors that it comes in. I don't like that you don't get like a huge set of them, especially with how much I annotate, but I can always buy more. But moving on to the new books that I bought. So the first is a manga, and one that I'm very excited about, and that is Dekuboko Bittersweet Days. This is the sequel to Dekuboko Sugar Days, and it's by Atsuko Yusen. This followed 2 young best friends that grew up, one's super tall, one's super short, and it goes through the fact that the shorter boy is in love with the tall boy, and this tall boy is very sweet, he is very kind, he's very cute, and it, you know, goes through the whole romance of, you know, being friends to lovers to boyfriends, and super cute. Then it came out with a sequel, and I was like, I need to have it. The next 2 books are because me and my really good friend are starting a book club with each other, and we both gave each other a list of 5 books that we would like to read, and there are a few books on her list that I'm super excited about, and I needed to own them right away. It is Natalie Haynes' Pandora's Jar: Women in the Greek Myths, and this, once again, like her 1,000 Ships, goes through and retells these Greek mythology stories from the women's perspective and pretty much bashes men and saying, you know, yeah, the men are great, they're heroes, but the women are the real heroes in the stories. And the next book is one that I actually got to read, and it was a NetGalley arc, and I'm very excited to own it, and I will be rereading it, and that is So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. This is an Arthurian kind of queer retelling, which I'm very excited about. It also has sapphic relationships as well as like a polyamoramous relationship in it, so very much a lot of representation that I'm excited about. This follows a young boy that overthrows a kingdom, and he was supposed to give up the throne to the actual prince, but then the prince ends up dying, the princess ends up dying, and here's this young boy who was just helping to overthrow a bad kingdom, and now he has the throne, and now he's told that he kind of has the curse of the throne, which is he will die by his 18th birthday if he doesn't get married. And this is him going through a bunch of suitors and finding his husband, and I'm very excited about this. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's just a stunning cover, and the fact that I loved F.T. Lukens' In Deeper Waters. That was an absolutely beautiful queer book. Queer fantasy is something that I really enjoy and want to see more of, so I'm very excited. So let me show you the used books that I got. So the first book is The Complete Essays, which is translated by M.A. Screech, and this is by the person that wrote them was Michel de Montaigne. And Michel de Montaigne is an actual philosopher. He's one of the most famous philosophers in life. He's one of the most quoted philosophers. He is tired of like French politics. He's tired of the city life, doesn't really want to deal with anyone anymore, and he picks up his life and he moves into the French countryside, and he ends up writing these essays, and it's his thoughts on life, it's his views on life. And what's so amazing about Michel de Montaigne is that he is considered one of the first modern men, and granted, he wasn't too modern. It's a lot of sass in here, so pretty much Michel de Montaigne is sassing everyone and saying, you're all idiots. Then the next used book that I got is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. I read Carry On quite a while ago, and I didn't like it. Carry On it takes place in a magical school, and there's the chosen one, and he's supposed to fight the bad guy, and it's him also. Then he has a roommate that's super mysterious. It's his rival. He doesn't like him. He has this whole creepy past, and it's like, you know, he doesn't want anything to do with him. And of course, they get thrown together trying to save the world. The reason why I struggled with Carry On was because growing up, I wasn't a fan of Harry Potter, and I still am not a fan of HP, especially now. And Carry On really reminded me of HP and the entire world, and so I was looking at it through the lens of somebody that didn't like HP, and it reminded me of that. And going back, I really shouldn't have done that, so now I really want to reread the series from a new perspective, from a new light, looking at it as its own thing. Then the next book is the third book in a trilogy, and that is Night of Dragon. This is the third book of A Shadow of the Fox. I really want to reread the trilogy. It's been a long time since I've read Shadow of the Fox and kind of forgotten what it's about. So I really want to finish that trilogy. And then the final used book that I got was A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. This is a series that I've really wanted to finish for a long time. I've only read An Ember in the Ashes, and I want to get to the other books. Very excited about this one. I don't remember what the books are about. Another book that I really have to reread. And the last two books that I'm showing you are the books that were gifted to me. And the first book here is sent by the publisher, as well as it's going to be a storygram tour. That book is A Veil of Gods and Kings by Nicole Bailey. This is an Apollo, it's a Greek mythology, and it's an Apollo Prince romance. So Apollo is a half demigod human currently. He hasn't ascended to being a full god, and he's made a lot of shitty choices. And his father, Zeus, is like, you know what? I'm going to be sending you to this prince to be mentored, and you're going to not only help him, but he's going to help you. Well, of course, they don't like each other, and, you know, romance ensues. And then the final book that was sent to me was from the Bookish Box. So if you don't know, the Bookish Box is it's a monthly subscription box that it curtails to both adult fantasy as well as young adult fantasy. To save on your first subscription, use my code COZY, C-O-Z-Y. The book that was sent to me is A Court of Dragons. This is the first book in the Dragon Isle Wars, and it's by Frost K. So that is all the books that I have either bought new, used, and or been gifted in the month of March. Quite a few books. My throat is like slowly getting worse as I talk, so I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!